This episode of Hitched to Homicide contains descriptions of sexual violence, including rape and graphic violence involving cannibalism. It may be disturbing or triggering for some listeners. Viewer and listener discretion is strongly advised.
Thanksgiving 1991, Costa Mesa, California. Newlyweds Omaima and Bill Nelson spend their first holiday together after being married just 3 weeks before. Bill's bride, 33 years his junior, cooks a lovely Thanksgiving dinner for the two of them. Sometime between Thursday night and Saturday morning, things turned deadly, and a holiday table turned into an autopsy. This is Leftovers, the gruesome Thanksgiving story of Omaima Nelson. Hey y'all, I'm Chris Calvert.
And I'm her husband, Rob Potto. Welcome to Hitched to Homicide.
For better or worse,
Death do us part.
welcome back, everybody.
Yes, welcome. And for our friends over there in Bosnia.
Bosnia?
We haven't done Bosnia yet.
I don't think we have.
And this is a difficult one, so let's see if I can get through it. Dobrodošli.
Very nice.
I don't know if it was or not.
Well, wherever you're listening, be sure to subscribe to Hitched to Homicide, then like, rate, review the podcast so other people who love true crime can find us. And if you're watching us on YouTube, please hit that subscribe button below.
Yes.
And if you want true crime with us every single day of the week, please go join our closed Facebook group, The In-Laws and the Outlaws.
Mm-hmm.
Go to Facebook, type in H2H, In-Laws and Outlaws, answer a couple questions. You are in, go join.
Please.
I post photos and a bunch of other information in there. We love those folks. They are our family.
Yes, they are.
You can find us on Instagram at Hitched to Homicide or on X at H2H_podcast. And we also have a Buy Me a Coffee link if you want to send Rob some coffee. It's cold.
It is very cold. And Scotty is like right up against me because he's cold. And I have my coffee.
There you go.
I know.
You can find that link in our show notes. You can also send us a text. The link to that is at the top of the show notes where it says, send Chris and Rob a text.
And Scotty.
And Scotty a text.
Yes.
Well, honey, tomorrow is Thanksgiving.
Woohoo!
You ready for some turkey and some dressing and some cranberry? That's his favorite, cranberry sauce. I have to make homemade cranberry sauce.
And actually, what I'm really looking forward to are leftovers. That's the best part of Thanksgiving is leftovers.
Well, that's the name of our podcast today is Leftovers.
Yeah, I had no idea.
Well, were you not listening when I was doing the opening?
No, Scotty was giving me a lot of trouble here, so I was trying to wrangle him while you were doing your intro and get ready for mine.
You were Yorkie wrangling.
I was. People have no idea what goes on behind the scenes.
That's true. That is very true. I'm held together with some bobby pins and what's that spray that you put in your hair? Dry shampoo. See, I can't even think of it.
Yeah, I don't know what that is.
There's this picture of, I can't remember which actress it is, and she's completely white-faced, and her hair is white and standing on end, and it was how much dry shampoo is too much asking for a friend?
Nice.
Well, since we're talking about Thanksgiving tomorrow, if you're out running errands and buying groceries, I always think that the day before Thanksgiving at the grocery store is like the Hunger Games.
It is.
It's a little bit crazy, but if you're out and you're listening to us, thanks for being with us and happy Thanksgiving.
Yes.
But before we do today's podcast, I have to give a warning.
Uh-oh.
This podcast contains stuff about abuse and cannibalism, and it is not for the weak of heart or stomach. You have been warned.
All right, I'll keep Scotty's ears covered.
Before we get started, let me thank some sources: Murderpedia.com, Investigation Discovery, the Los Angeles Times, the San Bernardino County Sun, the Santa Maria Times, and FilmDaily.com.
All right. Well, you ready?
I am.
Let's do it.
Omaima Aree is born in the south of Egypt near the Sudanese border in 1968. She's born into a Muslim farming village, and her life was less than easy, to say the least. Omaima's father was a really violent man with a horrendous temper, and Omaima and her mother were both subjected to physical and sexual abuse. And Omaima is actually even a victim of female genital mutilation.
Oh.
And here are some statistics and information on FMG, or female genital FGM, not FMG. FGM, female genital mutilation. I had to do a double take on myself there. It's a destructive operation during which the female genitals are partly or entirely removed or injured with the aim of inhibiting a woman's sexual feelings. Most often, the mutilation is performed before puberty, often on girls between the age of 4 and 8. But recently, it is increasingly performed on babies who are only a couple of days or weeks or months old. And when this is done, there is no anesthesia, and they use knives, scissors, and razors that are not usually disinfected. It's a brutal procedure, and it's still being performed today in Africa, the Middle East, and Southeast Asia. And according to the World Health Organization, 200 million women worldwide have been affected by FGM, and Omaima Aree is one of them.
Wow.
So Omaima is subjected to this when she's a little girl, but her mom and dad divorced, and her mom takes Omaima to live in Cairo. And they moved to an area of Cairo called the City of the Dead. This is an overpopulated, poverty-stricken area in Cairo. Almost 1 million people are crammed into this one little area where shanties are built in graveyards amongst the dead.
Wow.
So homes are surrounded by graves. And she wants out of this situation. She and her mother are very poor. She wants out. When she's 17, maybe 18 years old, she meets a man, an American man. He's an oil worker in Egypt. And because she has sex with him, her family requires her to marry him. She's no longer a virgin, and she knows that no Muslim man will accept her now because she's had sex with an American. And Omaima's mother encourages her to marry him and get the heck fire out of Cairo, and Omaima does marry him. His last name is Stainbrook. She wants out of Egypt and the life she has there. She wants to go to America, and when her new husband's job ends in Egypt, he takes her home to Texas. Immigration records show that Omaima came to the United States on November 26, 1986, and was granted immediate residency because she's married to an American citizen.
Right.
But it's not long after they make it to the United States that this marriage is going to end in divorce. I don't know why, and I don't know who he was, but he was done with Omaima, or maybe she was done with him. In fact, in an article in the San Bernardino Sun from December 1991, they couldn't find her first husband, which could mean that Mr. Stainbrook didn't want to be found.
Yeah.
By 1986, she's 18, she's living in America, and she barely knows English. She tells people that she's from a wealthy family in Egypt and that she speaks French and English and 16 dialects of Arabic. She is still a practicing and devoted Muslim.
Okay.
Omaima is a pretty girl. She's exotic looking. She's very petite, maybe 5 feet tall, but she has big brown eyes and she's sort of striking. And what she discovers is that she can use her looks in America with men to get what she wants or what she needs to get by.
Hey, big boy.
Hey.
Right.
She would meet men in bars, mostly older men, and would go from one relationship to another where she had men taking care of her. She's looking for a sugar daddy.
Thanks, sugar daddy.
She doesn't really have a job, and she doesn't really have any job skills, and she is still learning English. And I read where she also worked as a model, she cleaned houses, and she was also at one time a nanny. Now, police records show that she had a record of misdemeanor charges starting in 1989, petty theft at a department store where she was shoplifting. When 2 female security guards tried to search her for stolen goods, Omaima damn near bit off the breast of one of the women.
Jeez.
And then she escaped. When they caught up with her, she was convicted of shoplifting and battery and spent a few months in jail. She had a DUI on her record and even a hit and run.
Wow.
People who knew of her, like the owner of a bar called Ray and Sandy's Hideaway in Chino, California, said that she was, quote, a woman given to temper tantrums, end quote.
Wow.
In 1990, Omaima was living with a sugar daddy, an older man named Robert Hansen. That's called foreshadowing.
See if I can do this with a dog in my hand. Ready?
Scotty, you're impeding the forecast. The podcast.
Or the forecast.
I can't get anything straight today, y'all. It's too much dry shampoo.
Yeah.
But she leaves this man and she moves to Costa Mesa, California. And in 1991, she's out at a local bar in the Costa Mesa area playing pool, where she meets 56-year-old William Nelson. He goes by Bill.
Okay.
Bill Nelson was known as a big hat, big belt buckle, big wad of cash in his pocket at all times, big personality kind of guy from Texas.
Everything's bigger in Texas.
Everything's bigger, big hat, no cattle.
There you go.
You just don't want him to be big hat, no cattle.
Yeah, exactly.
But he's from Texas, but he's now living in California. He's a former Texas rancher and a private pilot. In 1984, Bill was found guilty of plotting to bring thousands of pounds of weed into the United States aboard an old DC-3 transport plane.
Wow.
Also prosecuted in this case were several Colombian nationals, a soccer star from Scotland, and Bill's brother, Jerry. He was flying old transport planes down to South America and bringing back large amounts of marijuana. And according to Bill, he was working for the CIA and was flying for the Nicaraguan Contras.
This is the United States Border Patrol. Shit. We are ordering you to land.
Wait.
Like Tom Cruise in the movie.
That's exactly what I was going to bring up.
Yeah, American Made, which was inspired by the life of Barry Seal, the former TWA pilot who flew missions for the CIA.
Right.
I take that back. I read where Barry Seal denied in court that he ever worked for the CIA.
Oh, really?
Yeah. But that's all I could think of when I read that when doing the research.
Yeah.
When Bill went into the federal prison system, he was married to a woman named Catherine Nelson, but she filed for divorce in 1990 while he was serving time. And after serving 4 years at Lompoc Federal Pen, which, the federal prisons are kind of like the white-collar prisons.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we have one here in Lexington, Kentucky, and a bunch of the Watergate guys. If you're too young to know what that is, go look it up. But a lot of the Watergate guys were in federal prison here in Lexington.
Right.
It was actually one of the places they considered for Martha Stewart.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I did not know that.
Yeah.
Oh.
But Bill was released on parole in July of 1991 and had found a job with Cannon Mortgage in Tustin, California, which is just 12 miles northeast of Costa Mesa. He works as a messenger and a part-time computer programmer.
Okay.
So Bill Nelson has this big personality. He's loud and funny. He carries all this money in his Wrangler jeans, and Omaima thought that was hot. She was drawn to it. He threw around cash money. He drove a red Corvette, a Stingray.
Nice.
He even wore red cowboy boots.
Really?
He's like a walking advertisement for a sugar daddy, right?
Yeah, exactly. Take advantage of me.
Yeah. At least to Omaima he is.
Right.
He comes off as a rich Texan with land and money. And Bill is old enough to be Omaima's real daddy, not just her sugar daddy. In fact, he has children older than she is.
Oh, wow.
And when Bill meets Omaima, he has 5 kids. I think 4 of them are grown. 1 is a 15-year-old daughter. And he's got 17 grandchildren.
Jeez.
But none of that seemed to bother Omaima because she liked older guys. They were nicer, and she wanted to take care of him, and she wanted somebody who would take care of her. She wanted to be wanted,
Sure.
and she wanted to be loved. And these two were smitten pretty daggone quick. He'd known her for only a few weeks when he told her that he wanted to marry her.
Goodness.
Why? Well, Bill was old-fashioned, and he didn't want to have sex with her unless she was his wife.
Gotcha.
Or maybe Omaima wouldn't have sex with him until he made her his wife.
Put a ring on it.
Yeah. It's like Beyonce says.
Yep.
Put a ring on it.
Yep.
There's just one problem. Bill is still technically married to Catherine.
Oh.
Remember, she filed for divorce when he's in prison, but they'd only been to court one time, and the divorce proceedings had been delayed because Bill was in the clink. And Bill tells Omaima he wants her to come with him on a road trip back to Laredo, Texas, and to Arkansas to see family and friends of his.
Okay.
Now, Bill wants his family to meet the new love of his life. He wanted to show her off, but on the way from California to Texas, they make a pit stop in Phoenix where they find a justice of the peace to marry them. And this makes me kind of think of Walk Hard, the Dewey Cox story, where Dewey marries his first wife, Edith, Kristen Wiig, and then marries Darlene Madison, Jenna Fisher. And Kristen Wiig, Edith says,
I did the right thing. It's not like we're not married.
If you're already married, you can't get married again.
you can't get double married. It's illegal to be married to two people at the same time, Dewey.
Yeah.
And he says, what about if you're famous? And Bill's not famous, but he's going to be, and for all the wrong reasons. When they meet Bill's grown children in Texas, they are not at all happy that their dad is now married to a 23-year-old woman. I mean, there's a 33-year age gap.
Yeah.
What in the world could they have in common?
I know.
But he's lonely and she's looking for stability, so there you go.
You mean Paul McCartney was in a band before Wings?
I don't get it.
He was in the Beatles.
Oh. Like, what? Beatles are before my time. It's like, I do not get that.
Oh, that's funny.
But to Bill's kids, their new stepmother is younger than some of them,
Right.
and they are suspicious of her.
Right.
But then she's out horseback riding and she gets bucked off one of the horses, and instead of whining and complaining, she asks for a shot of vodka and 2 aspirin. And Bill's kids are like,
Well, she was tougher than she looked.
okay, maybe she's not a gold-digging princess.
Right.
Maybe she really is a tough cookie.
Right.
They spend a couple of weeks in Texas and Arkansas and then drive home. By Thanksgiving 1991, they'd been married a little less than 4 weeks, and they settled into Bill's apartment on Eldon Avenue in Orange County, California. On Thanksgiving Day, November 28th, Bill speaks with his stepdaughter and tells her that he and Omaima were having a nice turkey dinner together to celebrate their first Thanksgiving. He does invite her to join them, and she says, no, thank you. According to Omaima, on the Friday night after Thanksgiving, November 29th, Bill tied her up, raped her, and beat her, forcing her to have sex. Somehow, according to Omaima, she got loose from her bindings and she grabbed a lamp on the nearby nightstand and knocked him in the head. Then she picked up a steam iron and began beating him in the head with it until it broke
Jeez.
in her hand.
Wow.
Then she took a pair of scissors and she stabbed Bill in the heart, the lungs, and the stomach repeatedly until she was satisfied that he was dead.
Yeah, I think she probably could have quit a little earlier.
That's a little bit of
Jeez.
overkill, no pun intended.
Yeah.
So they have a nice Thanksgiving dinner, just the two of them, because his daughter doesn't want to show up. She's like, no thanks, I'm not coming. So it's just the two of them.
Right.
And then the next night, she says he ties her up. Now, what happens next is gruesome. You've been warned.
You've been warned.
Okay.
So turn down your radio if you're pulling up to the dry cleaners to pick something up or whatever. Hopefully you got your AirPods in listening to this.
I'm covering Scotty's ears.
Cover
right
his ears.
now. Okay.
After Bill is dead, Omaima puts on a red dress, red high heels, a red hat, and red lipstick.
Okay.
I'm telling you, Omaima drags Bill into the kitchen, all dressed up, and begins to butcher his lifeless body.
Good Lord.
First, she castrates him.
Ugh.
Then she removes his arms. Then she cut his hands from his arms. She removes his legs. She guts him, removing his internal organs.
Oh my gosh.
She then decapitates him and skins his torso.
Holy cow.
Omaima needs to get rid of all these body parts. So she starts cooking him. She places his decapitated head in a deep fat fryer and cooks it. Then she takes it out of the deep fryer and wraps it in tinfoil and puts it in the freezer. She wants to get it cold enough so she can break out his teeth. She doesn't want him to have dental records. She then fries his hands in the deep fryer with leftovers from Thanksgiving.
Ugh.
Omaima cooks Bill's ribs in the oven and eats them with barbecue sauce.
What?
Quote, he tasted so sweet, so delicious, just like I like it, end quote.
This is okay.
I told you.
Holy cow.
So why does a murderer eat their victim? Well, according to George Palermo, a forensic psychiatrist at the Medical College of Wisconsin in Milwaukee, who worked on the Jeffrey Dahmer case, a killer's need to dominate his victim may be a motivation. Devouring a victim is the step beyond taking their life, and it represents the ultimate conquest and a sign of domination to a killer. Quote, it goes back to the old days of where they would defeat their enemy and eat the part they most admired, like their brain or their heart. It's like they're saying, I really killed you. The only way you exist is in me, end quote.
Man.
And after she does all this, after she puts on her red lipstick, her heels, her hat, and her dress, and dismembers and eats part of her husband, she's got to get rid of him. So she starts to put what she can down the garbage disposal. Omaima ran the disposal night and day for almost 24 hours straight before she breaks it.
Yeah.
And we know this because her neighbors remember she lives in an apartment. Her neighbors heard the disposal going all night long, and they heard it break. And they said it was grinding and slowing and grinding and slowing, and finally it came to an abrupt halt. Man. She begins packing up his body parts, his head in the freezer, his legs and entrails in garbage bags, but she doesn't know what or how to dispose of the rest of him, and she needs help. Now it's Sunday, December 1st, 3 days after Thanksgiving. At 9 a.m., Omaima shows up at Jose Esquivel's house. Now, I read in a couple of sources that he was a guy that she dated briefly, but I think just based on what I read about Omaima, these two knew each other because they partied together. I don't think Omaima dated men her own age. I think she partied with lots of people, and I think back in 1990, Jose and his roommates partied and hung out with Omaima, but I don't think he was ever her boyfriend, as some of the sources do say.
Got it.
Omaima drives Bill's Corvette to Jose's house, and he's still asleep on this Sunday morning when Omaima starts pounding on his front door, and he looks out the window and he sees this Corvette, and this car, he doesn't recognize it. So what does Jose do? He goes back to bed and he doesn't answer the door, which makes sense. He's like looking out of his bedroom window. I don't know who this is. Yeah. I'm not getting up.
Right.
So he goes back to sleep, and Omaima gives up and leaves, but she comes back around 1:30 that afternoon, and she actually catches Jose with the front door to his house open. Like the screen door is closed, but the main door is open.
Right.
And she just lets herself in. And that's when Jose realizes that it's Omaima who'd knocked earlier, because he can see this red Corvette in the driveway once more.
Sure.
When he starts talking to her with the, quote, what are you doing here kind of thing, he notices that she's visibly upset. She's really upset, and she's crying, and she has some injuries. And when he asks her what's going on, she tells Jose, I've killed my husband. She tells him, Bill attacked me, he tied me up, and he raped me. Then she says after that, after a few days of sexual bondage, she had escaped, but now she needs help because she killed him. Quote, I killed him. I killed him. I cut him to pieces and put his head in the refrigerator, end quote. This is what Jose is going to later tell a reporter from the LA Times.
I'd just like to be Jose getting that kind of
No, right?
Wow.
Yeah, can you believe that? She pulls Jose into the kitchen in his apartment or in his house and said, quote, there's a safe of money, $150,000. I'll give you half if you will help me, end quote. So she's going to bribe him.
Yeah.
Jose plays along and tells her that he wants more than $75,000. And she says, yes, you can have whatever you want. He's got 2 motorcycles in the garage, and I'll give those to you. But you have to help me dispose of his body. And she tells Jose that she's cut up her husband's body and put him into trash bags, and she needs someone to help her get rid of him. And she needs a truck or something. So Jose tells her to wait there at his place, and he'll come back for her with a truck so he can help her out. But what Jose actually does is drive to a payphone. It's 1991. He's got to go to a payphone.
What's that, Mommy?
It was probably a rotary dial, too.
Yeah.
But he calls 911.
Yeah.
And when police arrive at Jose's place, they find Omaima waiting for him. Police say that she's obviously distraught, and she'd been crying, and the cuts on her arms and legs really seemed to confirm her story that she had been sexually abused and tied up by her husband. But she tells the police that she doesn't need them, that something is wrong. She tells police that Bill is very much alive. He's just not in California because he's in Florida on a business trip. She tells police that she has no way of getting in touch with him. She's cooperating with police, and she tells them that they haven't been together long, her and Bill. But her answers are kind of strange.
Mm-hmm.
And the police are like, what's really going on here? What's up here?
Sure.
What's happening?
Right.
So they kind of congregate outside of Jose's place, and they see this red Corvette. And one of the officers walks over to it and looks inside, and sitting in the passenger side bucket seat is a black garbage bag.
Oh, no.
So he opens it. He sticks a knife into the bag. He's not going to touch anything because it could be evidence.
Sure.
And what does he see in the bag?
I bet it's not chicken tenders.
Entrails.
Ugh.
It's Bill's internal organs wrapped in newspaper.
Jeez.
The officer drops the bag in the driveway. He backs off. I mean, can you imagine? He's thinking there's like clothes or something in here, and he finds human remains.
Wow.
The coroner's investigator shows up at the scene and takes a look and says, yeah, that right here, these are lungs.
Man.
And there's an indication that whoever these body parts belong to, they were a smoker. And Bill was a smoker.
Yeah.
So police are thinking, what is up with this woman? She's told Jose that she killed him and chopped him up. There's evidence in the front seat of the car registered to Bill that someone has been chopped up. So Omaima earns herself a trip to the Costa Mesa Police Department headquarters so she can be questioned. The Costa Mesa homicide investigators head to the apartment with a search warrant. They're going to Bill and Omaima's place.
Right.
And they're a little bit worried before they get in there. They knock to see if anyone is home, and of course they aren't. They break a window and let themselves in, and what they find is a mess, but not the kind of mess you might think. There's computer equipment all over the place. Because remember, I told you he worked as a part-time computer programmer for this mortgage company.
Right.
And he had all kinds of hard drives everywhere in the apartment. And in 1991, a hard drive was big.
Yeah.
It was this big rectangle thing, right?
Yep.
Meanwhile, back at the Costa Mesa Police Department, Omaima is in an interrogation room, and detectives are really curious as to what she's going to say because they've talked to Jose. And the interview lasted somewhere between 3 and 4 hours, and during that time, Omaima never sits down. She paced the entire time, and according to police, she rambled a lot, even speaking of herself in third person. Omaima did this. Omaima did that. She denied that her husband, Bill, was dead. Bill's fine. He's in Florida. Instead, when asked if she told Jose earlier that she'd killed Bill, she tells police, quote, killed my husband, he wish, end quote.
Oh, jeez.
And when investigators repeat that, quote, he wish, huh, end quote, she says, quote, no, I did not, end quote. And police are like, wait a cotton picking minute here, young lady. You didn't show up at Jose's place today telling him that you killed your husband? And Omaima's like, quote, he's on acid. He doesn't know what he's talking about, end quote. So Jose's on acid.
Okay.
But hold on a sec, honey. You've got human organs, entrails, and lungs in a bag in the front seat of a red Corvette that belongs to your husband. How are you going to explain that away?
Right.
And she tells police of her husband, Bill, quote, I thought that he killed somebody. He was in prison for 4 years. He was a dangerous man, end quote. And police have pulled up enough information about Bill Nelson by then to know that he was on parole and that he had been to prison for drug smuggling. But Omaima tells police that Bill had done way worse things than drug smuggling. She tells them he liked to rape women and, quote, stuff like that, end quote.
Man.
She tells police that Bill had tied her up and raped her too. She'd begged him not to tie her up. So he, quote, sit on my shoulder like this, right here on my chest. I couldn't breathe, end quote. But when they're asking her how she escaped, if he tied her up, if he tied you up, how did you happen to escape? And what happened to him? Omaima sticks to her story that Bill isn't dead, and she never told Jose that she'd killed him and cut him up, and that he could have 2 motorcycles and $75,000 or more than that if he would help her get rid of the body. Quote, I don't know. I don't believe he's dead. He can't be, end quote.
Man.
But Omaima can't explain how she ended up at Jose's apartment with human remains in the front seat of the car. She just sort of skips that part of the story. So police try something different.
Well, yeah, they got to try something else.
Well, yeah, because Omaima's told police that she was raped.
Yeah.
So they send her to the hospital for a sexual assault exam where they can document her injuries. Because remember, she has some lacerations and bruises on her body. Mm-hmm. Meanwhile, back at Bill and Omaima's apartment, the police are still going through this place. They've waded through all the computer hard drives, and they're starting to find telltale signs that something bad has happened there.
Oh, what fresh hell is this?
At first, it was just a little bit of blood on the floor, or like a tiny speck of blood on a doorknob. Mm-hmm. But when they really started looking, they found Omaima's husband, Bill, and the gruesome truth.
The head.
Police find several suitcases and bags that are stained dark by blood.
Yeah.
They open them, and inside several trash bags, police find human flesh. In one trash bag, police discover a broken lamp and an iron that had human flesh and hair attached to it. Bill's flesh. Wow. Bill's hair. Remember, she beat him to death with that steam iron.
She beat him so bad she broke the iron.
In the kitchen, in the deep fryer, were Bill Nelson's partially cooked hands along with some white turkey meat. In the freezer, police find wrapped in aluminum foil Bill Nelson's deep-fried head right next to frozen hot dogs, peas, and carrots.
Wow.
Now, before we started recording today, we found out that the door to our deep freezer, which we keep in the garage, was open. But there was nothing like that in here.
No.
Just some melted ice cream.
That's it.
Maybe some fish sticks. In the bedroom, the police find evidence that kind of fits Omaima's story. There's rope in the floor, and the bed had 2 posts at the head, and they are both broken. So police look closer, and they take the sheets off the bed, and what do you think they find?
I have no idea.
The mattress was soaked with blood.
Oh.
The mattress and the box springs are both soaked with blood. So back in the day, you had a mattress and a box spring. Now everybody just gets like one mattress and then like a thing for it to sit on, platform for it to sit on.
Sure.
So police are thinking, who tied up who in this room? How did this whole thing unfold?
Right.
They take a closer look at the body parts scattered in garbage bags and in the kitchen and find that on the hands in the deep fryer, they can see some bruising around the wrists, like he had been tied up and he had struggled against ropes.
Wow.
And in the trash bag containing his legs, there are black bruises around each of his ankles.
There you go.
Now, detectives are thinking, hold the phone. What's going on here? And when they're getting back to the results of her sexual abuse exam, they're like, okay, he looks like he was the one tied up.
Mm-hmm.
We want these exam results. Was she raped or not? You know, what happened?
Right.
Well, the ER doctor, the trauma physician, and the trauma nurse both had the same conclusion. The rape exam was negative. There was no evidence of trauma, vaginally or anally, and the injuries she did have, they were consistent with someone who'd been using a sharp object and had been careless. Her injuries were consistent with someone being careless with a sharp knife from chopping up and dismembering a body.
Ugh.
The homicide detectives bring Omaima back to the police station to have another chat with her. Detective Robert Phillips with the Costa Mesa Police Department gets her in a room and says, look it, sister. Here's what we've got on you. Here's what we found. That's not a direct quote. I'm paraphrasing. And what do you think she said?
I didn't do it.
Quote, I have a confession now, end quote.
Oh.
Yeah.
Wow.
Omaima tells police that she knows Bill is dead, and she knows it because she killed him. Quote, I don't remember how I killed him. All I remember, I get up, like I said, and I find him, and he's in a trash bag. I wish I knew how I killed him, though. End quote. And when they ask her why she killed her husband, quote, something inside me told me that I had to do it, like demons, end quote.
There you go. It's the old demon defense.
The devil made me do it. According to Detective Phillips, Omaima told him that she took drugs, she drank alcohol, how horrible her childhood was, and how she had been abused. She'd been having visions, and mysterious people were contacting her. Omaima said 2 women covered in blood came to her and said, quote, he must die, end quote. So did she have a psychotic break, or is she just flat out evil?
She's flat out evil. I mean, listen, she came over to Jose, is that his name? Or the guy that she went to visit?
Yes, her
Okay.
friend that she parties with.
Right. She went to him and then told him in detail what she did.
And I'll give you money and motorcycles if you help me get rid of the body.
Yeah, come on.
Yeah. Police think she's just trying to minimize her own role in her husband's death. But for sure, she's not. She ain't right.
Right.
She tells police, quote, I need someone to talk to. I need a psychiatrist, end quote.
Honey, you said a mouthful.
Yeah,
That is saying a mouthful, Omaima.
There's an understatement.
The Costa Mesa police book Omaima on murder charges. She's taken to the Orange County Women's Jail, and bail is set at $250,000. On December 10th, 1991, a week and a half after the murder, Omaima gives an interview to the LA Times. I found it while searching through some old microfilm, and while she's in jail, she denies that she killed Bill or that she ever offered Jose money to help her throw away his remains. Quote, he had enemies. Someone set me up, drugged me, and I woke up and the police thought I did it, end quote. She told the Times that she regretted getting married. Quote, I wasn't happy. I began having second thoughts that we got married so soon. We shouldn't have got married so quick. There was a lot of fighting, end quote. They were married 3 weeks.
Yeah. How much fighting can you do in 3
That's
weeks?
not even enough time to get upset with your husband because he accidentally left the freezer door open.
Oh, stop it. It was cracked. Everybody, it was cracked.
Same difference. When Omaima is asked about Bill by this reporter, she says, quote, Nelson is dead? Oh my God, I wish I knew that I wish I knew what happened. I just don't remember, end quote. She calls him Nelson by his last name. But then later in the interview, she admits that she knew Bill was dead and that police had accused her of the murder. She's all over the place.
Yeah.
While Omaima is sitting in her jail cell, the medical examiner concluded that the flesh and organs, appendages, and severed head were in fact Bill Nelson. This medical examiner is then tasked with putting together the pieces of this murder. No pun intended. Now, part of a medical examiner's job is to weigh the body parts. Bill Nelson wasn't a little guy. He was like 6 feet, weighing in at over 200 pounds. You know, between 80 and 130 pounds of Bill Nelson were missing.
Yeah.
But remember, she ran the garbage disposal until it broke early Sunday morning.
Right.
And Omaima ate Bill's ribs.
Yeah.
The coroner found that there were 25 or more wounds to the skull before he was decapitated and deep fried, and his body had been, quote, skillfully, end quote, cut up. With so much precision, the coroner was a little worried that perhaps Omaima had done it before. So police go digging into Omaima's past and discover something. Bill wasn't really her first victim. Police see this pattern where Omaima would meet men in bars, older men, go home to live with them, take them for whatever she could. In fact, her own attorney, Terrence Scott, called her a, quote, low-rent gold digger,
Wow.
end quote.
Oh, man.
She didn't want much other than a roof over her head, but police think she wants a sugar daddy who would take care of her. But none of the other men she'd used had ended up dead, although I don't think anyone has ever been able to find her first husband, remember?
Oh, that's right.
But when she got tired of these old men that she's living off of, she'd steal money, a car, and then she'd just leave. So remember Robert Hansen, the older man she lived with before meeting Bill?
Yeah.
Well, when he sees all this news about Omaima, he marches himself into the police because he's like, I got a story to tell you.
I have got a story for you.
I got something for you.
Yeah. Listen to this.
Robert Hansen was 61 years old when he met Omaima. He was using her for sex. She was using him for money. But the relationship ended after one night of debauchery. Omaima, according to Robert, had asked him for some money, and he said to her, what are you going to do for me? Which, of course, is nasty and gross, right? And she told him that she wanted to tie him up and have sex with him. And Robert Hansen was like,
Yeah, hell yeah, hell yeah.
hells yeah, baby.
Let's go.
Turn on some Marvin Gaye. Let's get it on. So Omaima ties him to the bed, and then she pulls out a gun, a handgun, and says, I'm going to kill you if you don't give me more money.
Man.
Robert's hands weren't bound as tightly to the bedpost as Omaima thought, and he was able to get out of the ties and wrestle the gun from her hands, and then he kicked her butt out of his house.
Good Lord.
And why didn't he go to the police when it happened? Well, he was embarrassed.
Yeah, I guess.
So the Orange County Prosecutor's Office is like, bingo, we're going to charge her with the murder of Bill Nelson and assault of Robert Hansen. And they think that they now have motive because they can show that this is Omaima's M.O. She would find sugar daddies, use her beauty and her hot body to entrap them. And when she was done with them, she would tie them up, take whatever she could. But she couldn't leave Bill so easily because they got married.
Yeah.
At least she thinks they're married. But to the prosecution, Omaima's defense that demons told her to kill Bill or he sexually abused her were just out the window as far as they were concerned.
Of course.
When Omaima's trial begins a year later in December of 1992, what they call her is Bill's common law wife. And when she showed up in court, she didn't look like the vixen the prosecution was about to paint her as. She had gained 40 pounds in jail, and now she just looks sad. Her defense team and Deputy Public Defender Thomas Mooney introduces evidence that Omaima is a long-suffering victim of battered wife syndrome and psychological malaise is behind the Thanksgiving 1991 killing of Bill. Mooney tells the jury that Omaima had been involved in several other abusive relationships before she ever met Bill and that he abused her during their 2-month relationship. But D.A. Randolph Pawlowski tells the judge that he's going to prove that the deep bruised rings around Bill's ankles are evidence that he was the victim of bondage during sexual acts with the defendant on the night he was killed because Omaima had twice before tied up her lovers during sex acts only to hold them at gunpoint and demand money.
Right.
Prosecution wants to prove that's exactly what she was doing to Bill on the night that he is murdered. And Omaima has always said that she was trussed to the bed and raped by Bill that night, not the other way around. And the DA shows the jury all the gruesome crime scene photos of the body parts that they found, including those in the deep fryer and the head, which she had deep fried and then put into the freezer. So it would be easier to knock his teeth out.
Right.
The hands in the deep fryer, no fingerprints. They're explaining why she did this.
Right.
And Omaima's neighbor testifies that the garbage disposal ran nonstop, night and day, and that he heard constant chopping sounds coming from the apartment. Prosecution introduced the iron that had pieces of Bill's scalp and hair attached. They also introduced nude photos of Omaima taken on the night of the murder where she is smiling with no signs of physical abuse.
Jeez.
I hope they were Polaroids. Polaroids, people. Don't send nude selfies.
Yeah.
Don't send them. They're out there on the internet. Just don't do it.
Forever.
When Omaima takes the stand, can you believe they put her on the stand?
Yeah.
She tells the jury that Bill was violent if she refused his constant sexual advances and once punished her by killing her newfound kitten. I think she said he threw it from a moving car when he wanted her to perform oral sex while he was driving, and she refused. Quote, I paid for you. I'm getting what I paid for, end quote. That's what Omaima says Bill said to her when she spurned his desire for kinky sex. Quote, he said, he doesn't care what I want anymore. I told him he raped me, end quote.
Wow.
Omaima tells the jury that he was kind and nice until they got married, and then she learned of his dark side. Quote, I was looking for someone kind and nice who wouldn't beat up on me, someone to give me love I never found before, end quote. She then told the court that she stayed with her abusive husband because he always apologized for his actions. But once when she tried to leave, he beat her. Quote, it was sex all the time, 3 times a day. You go, Bill. I mean, he's in his 60s.
Yeah.
She explained that on the night Bill died, she cuffed her husband at his request after the two watched pornography together, and then he took photos of her in a bikini. How's he taking photos of her in a bikini if he's got his hands handcuffed?
Yeah, exactly.
Now, the prosecution tells the jury that Omaima and Bill entered into a consensual sexual encounter, bondage session. She tied him to the headboard, and then she demanded money, just like she had done with Robert Hansen. Bill refused, and she lost her mind. And don't forget, the prosecution has had Robert Hansen on the stand telling them exactly what happened to him.
Sure.
And the DA asks about the garbage disposal running all night and day, the chopping sounds, the dismemberment and missing body parts. But the jurors are asked not to consider the mutilation of the victim when considering their verdict by Omaima's attorney. He tells the jury in his closing statement that she was suffering a mental breakdown at the time. She thought she was being raped and therefore did not have malice. For murder, she had no intention or desire to inflict harm on Bill, which is a pretty tough pill to swallow since she cooked and ate his ribs.
Yeah, all that seems to be a bit of a stretch.
Her public defender tells the jury that Omaima's abuse began when she was 7 years old, and that she was a product of female genital mutilation, and this made it impossible for Omaima to even enjoy sex in any way. She had psychological scars. She suffered from PTSD. Her family had beat her and sexually molested her. She lived in a fantasy world. She was childlike, and she was deeply disturbed. Omaima believed that ancient Egyptians spoke to her and acted through her, and that's who killed Bill Nelson on November 30th.
Yeah, right.
And even though Omaima hadn't been raped on that night that she killed her husband, the defense told the jury that it was Bill's intent to rape her that night. Defense is telling the jury that raping Omaima was a daily thing for Bill. He demanded oral sex every day, and he called her names and would get ugly with her if she didn't do it just the way he wanted. And it's at some point that night that Omaima snaps. She says the ancient Egyptians came to her to help her kill Bill, and the voices in her head told her to kill him and told her to mutilate his dead body because ancient Egyptians believed that if your physical body is scattered, you can't go into the afterlife, and that is why she cut him up.
Okay.
Omaima's thinking, if I'm going to the afterlife, I sure as hell don't want to see Bill there, so I'm cutting him up.
God.
The prosecution says that all of this, the cannibalism, the dismembering of the body, the ancient Egyptians telling her what to do, it's all so she can get an insanity plea.
Right.
And when her defense team calls her to the stand to show her mental state at the time of the murder, prosecution's going to take full advantage of this. They're like, they're putting her on the stand. We're going to take her to task.
They're licking their chops.
Yeah, they want to show Omaima's mindset at the time that she murdered her husband.
Right.
And Omaima stated that she started out hopeful that her marriage to Bill was going to be everything that she wanted. It was her dream, but he ended up being her nightmare. As soon as they got married, he'd threatened to kill her. They're driving through Arizona, and he tells her that if she doesn't do what he wants, he's going to bury her in the desert. She says while on the witness stand that she took him seriously because he was an ex-con. Don't forget, Omaima has done time too.
Right.
But was he abusive to her? Who knows?
Right.
She said the night that he died, November 30th, it was an abusive sexual encounter that only ended because she hit him with the lamp to stop him. She breaks the lamp over his head, then picks up the steam iron and beats him until she knows that he's dead. She breaks the iron, but then she goes on with the scissors because they were They were just handy. That's what she tells the jury. The scissors were handy.
Wow.
Yeah. She says she was telling him to get off of her, and then it goes blank. She denies knowing about dismembering him. She says the next thing she knows, she's alone in the apartment with all these bags filled with his remains. Nothing about eating him. Nothing about shoving body parts down the disposal. She was confused. Quote, "What am I doing in this place?" End quote.
You know, I have trouble just reaching over and turning on a lamp at night, let alone somebody on top of me and picking up a lamp and smashing it over their head. I mean, come on.
He's not telling the truth. We have a smart house, and so he tells the lamp to turn on.
Hey,
he
Google.
doesn't even touch it, by the way.
Yeah.
But she said that Bill was never tied up. She didn't do that. And the prosecution stated, quote, "Thank God we've got those legs," end quote.
Yeah.
Meaning they can see where he's been tied up.
Yeah.
And then the prosecution played a video shot on the couple's trip to Texas, the one where she said he threatened to kill her and bury her in the desert. It was people laughing, in love, having a good time. Remember, they just got married.
Sure.
And according to family members and friends, they acted like a couple of kids in love. So who's right here, Omaima or all the evidence? Bill isn't there to give his side of the story.
Sure.
On January 12th, 1992, the jury reaches a verdict, second-degree murder. It took them an entire week to come to that conclusion. The defense wanted involuntary manslaughter, but the jury had to hold someone who'd not only killed her husband, but then dismembered him and cooked him and eaten him to more than involuntary manslaughter, but not murder one where it was premeditated. Omaima was found guilty of assault with a deadly weapon for the other charge with Robert Hansen, and she received 27 years to life.
Wow.
She's sent to the women's prison in Chowchilla, California. She was denied parole the first time she became eligible. And then sometime in the 2000s, Omaima married again while in prison.
Who would, okay, that's a whole nother story.
It was a 70-year-old man who was in a wheelchair.
Yeah, we both have so much in common. We both love soup.
Man.
She married him and was granted a 3-day conjugal visit with him. And when he died, he left her a sizable amount of money.
He was.
In 2011, she was up for parole again. This time, Bill's daughter came to give a powerful impact statement, saying that her father didn't get to walk her down the aisle. He never met his grandchild, her new child.
Right.
Orange County Deputy District Attorney Randy Pulowski, who prosecuted Omaima Nelson in 1993, attended the same parole hearing and argued that she had a long history of violence and tumultuous relationships with men and didn't have a viable plan for parole and did not take advantage of self-help opportunities while she was in prison. And he also insisted that Omaima had never shown any remorse and continues to pose a, quote, high risk of danger to others if she is released, end quote. Yeah.
You think?
Quote, "My life was in danger. If I didn't defend my life, I would have been dead. I'm sorry it happened, but I'm glad I lived. I'm sorry I dismembered his body. I crossed the reality line. I saw the blood and I freaked out. I'm not here to justify what I did. I was temporarily insane," end quote. Well, you just justified what you did, Omaima.
Yeah.
She tells the parole board that she wanted to go back to Egypt and live with her mother and that she wasn't a danger to society because when she had her 3-day conjugal visit with her now deceased husband, there were knives in the drawers in the kitchen, and she didn't touch them.
Well, good for you.
I know.
Congratulations.
You didn't cut up your husband.
Oh, man.
The board also considered a letter from Superior Court Judge Robert Fitzgerald, the trial judge, who wrote that he was shocked at Nelson's statement to a psychiatrist that she cooked her husband's ribs, donned a red dress, hat, and gloves, and tasted the ribs. Quote, "This scary woman should never be released," end quote. That's from the judge.
Good for him.
Omaima was eligible for parole again just last year in 2024, and she was denied.
Yay.
She will not be eligible for another parole hearing until 2026, when she will be 58 years old, marking 35 years since the crime occurred.
Man.
Prosecutors cited her disciplinary record, lack of full remorse, and history of violence as reasons for continued incarceration. So she's not even behaving herself in the women's prison at Chowchilla.
Yeah. I'm going to say she's got a lot of problems. What do you think?
I think that she does.
Jeez.
And the whole victim here is Bill. And his only crime was that, he was larger than life and had a wad of cash and a big belt buckle, and he fell prey to Omaima.
Man.
But that is the Thanksgiving Day story of Omaima Nelson and her husband Bill. And that's all I have to say about that.
All right, here's my take on all of this.
By the way, I apologize to everybody about the cannibalism and all the graphic stuff.
Hey, it is what it is.
It is what it is, but it is a good Thanksgiving podcast, a true crime podcast.
Yeah. We've had these kind of cases before, I don't remember cannibalism, but I just never understood what goes through somebody's mind when they're cutting up a person, especially a person they know.
Yeah. I don't know.
That's just so
I don't know.
Above me.
That's a good thing. I'm really glad that you don't see any way about that, how to do that.
I freak out when I hit a squirrel on the street,
It's true.
All right.
It's true.
Well, I hope she never gets out and hope she never sees the outside world ever again.
Yeah, I hope his family keeps her in there for sure.
Yeah. All right, I need to move away from this.
Okay.
It's freaking me out.
Okay.
Let's do a little bless your heart.
Well, bless your heart.
All right, number one, what I meant to say.
What you meant to say.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, Florida cops say a man who called 911 to report a crime appeared to forget he was admitting to one himself.
Oops.
John Omer Sengal, 50, was arrested after he allegedly volunteered to police that he paid 4 people $500 for at least one of them to come to his Days Inn hotel to engage in sexual activities, WPTV reported. Sengal, who is reportedly homeless, called 911 on March 22nd after the people he said he paid never showed up to his West Palm Beach hotel room, officials said.
Okay.
Yep. An officer arrived at the hotel where Sengal explained the situation and confirmed he was soliciting another person for sex, WPTV reported. He said he decided to call police when he realized he'd been scammed. Sengal was arrested and charged with 1 count of soliciting a prostitute. It wasn't immediately clear if cops ever tracked down the alleged scammers. It also wasn't known how the homeless Sengal came by $500 to allegedly pay for sex, but he was able to post bail another $500 and secure his release from jail also.
Are we sure he's homeless?
I don't know.
Okay.
No. Anyway, good for him, I guess. I don't know. Number 2. I know that one's got me
stumped.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
All right, number 2. Can you say anger management?
Scotty, can you say anger management?
A Florida man used a front end loader to dump a bucket of dirt on the vehicle of his girlfriend.
Oh.
That drove to a meeting with him yesterday afternoon, police said. After the woman arrived at the meeting site in a white 2010 Cadillac, Mills approached in a front-end loader with a load of dirt in the bucket. According to investigators, when Mills' girlfriend refused to answer a question, he proceeded to commit a felony.
Oops.
Quote, the defendant dumped the dirt on the driver's side half of the vehicle, causing scratches on the top of the hood and trunk. Reports cops who added that, quote, the window was down during the incident, which caused dirt to fill up the air vents, center console, and power windows. The woman was not injured by the cascading dirt. The Cadillac's owners, whose name is redacted from the report, subsequently arrived at the scene and estimated that his vehicle suffered around $8,000 in damages. Mills reportedly confessed to the dirt dump, claiming that he, quote, did this in an attempt to get the woman to leave him alone, unquote.
I don't know if that's the best way to get her to leave you alone. And are
Yeah.
you just driving around town with in a tractor with a front end loader? What's going on?
Yeah. That explanation did not stop sheriff's deputies from arresting Mills on a felony criminal mischief charge. Mills was released last night from the county jail after posting a $1,000 bond.
Okay.
All right, number 3 in, finally.
Finally.
You know, something just doesn't smell right.
Okay.
At around 4:30 a.m. local time on Sunday, deputies from the Hillsborough County Sheriff's Office pulled over a vehicle at a traffic stop in Tampa, Florida. When authorities approached the car, a female deputy immediately noticed that a passenger in the car, later identified as 20-year-old Fabricio Jimenez, how's that for a pronunciation?
That's good.
Had a white powdery substance on his nose.
Oops.
Investigators immediately recognized the powder as what? Cocaine. Yeah. Deputies photographed Jimenez's nose before swabbing the substance for a field test, and the results of which proved that the substance did contain cocaine. Authorities also found a backpack containing 250 grams of marijuana and 13 Xanax tablets after searching the vehicle, and an additional small bag of cocaine in Jimenez's possession. Quote, Jimenez was arrested without incident, but the attempt to tell the deputies the cocaine on the nose was not his, according to the Hillsborough County Sheriff's Office. That's not my cocaine on my nose.
Whose was it?
In addition to the drug charges, Jimenez also reportedly facing probation violation charges, according to the smoking gun, in connection with his arrest last year for being in possession of other drugs. So this guy, yeah.
He doesn't have a leg to stand on.
I think he's pretty much guilty.
He doesn't have a nose to stand on.
Exactly.
It always makes me think of Puss in Boots in one of the Shrek things or whatever. They push him up against the wall and they start frisking him and they're like, "We've got catnip." He goes, "That's not mine."
Catnip. That's no mine.
It's not mine.
I just love the fact he's got cocaine on his nose and he's saying,
"It's not mine."
That's not mine.
Yeah.
I don't know how they got there. I just bought this nose.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, well, there you go.
Well, that was pretty good. If you have a bless your heart or you know somebody's heart who needs blessing, all you got to do is go to hitchtohomicide.com. When you get there, there's a pull-down menu, and while you're there, you can also suggest a case or tell us about your brush with true crime.
Yep.
Happy Thanksgiving, everybody.
Yes, happy
Hope you have a
Thanksgiving.
wonderful day and you get to eat lots of good stuff.
Yep.
And even if you're not with family, hopefully you can get together with friends and have a Friendsgiving.
Yep.
That's my amazing husband out there.
And that's my beautiful bride in the booth that's going to let me eat all the leftovers.
Yes, I am. Join us next time on Hitch to Homicide.
Bye, y'all.